Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today for another Hairpreneur live show here. I'm the host, Ryan Weeden. If you've caught some of these in the past, I hope you enjoyed them. If you have, it's probably why you're here again. Today, I'm stoked to be here. It's Monday. I think it's Monday, right? Every day kind of feels the same. It feels like it's just Wednesday, like you're in between or at the beginning, but you were somewhere just in this flux period. It's very strange times we're living in right now. So we got to stay positive, and that's why we're all here today to do something for our future and for our time to stay focused and inspired. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to my high performance coach. His name is John Roussot. He is a certified high performance coach coming to you all the way from South Africa right now. Say hi, John.
Fantastic. Hey, everybody. It's really good to be here on the show with you, Ryan. And, thank you all for joining us tonight. I think, it is unprecedented times that we're in at the moment. And Ryan and I have often been speaking about the fact that now is the most important time for us to encourage each other, uplift each other, be there to just support each other through this. I think as tough as it is, we are all in this together. So really, really good that we can share some ideas tonight. And I'm really looking forward to the call. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, you got it. So today we're going to be talking about a lot of ways that we can maximize our time now, because a lot of us have just been thrown into this uncomfortable state of flux, of uncertainty. Because if you're like me, like a salon owner or in the salon behind the chair, if that's what you do for your during the week to make money and to find purpose in your life, obviously things have to shift now. There's a big shift going on right now, and suddenly our salon is closed or our business is closed and we don't have our clients anymore. Some of us don't have any money coming in at the moment, and it's a very scary place to be. So we're here to help you, to maybe guide you in some ways that you can still find purpose every single day, find wins every single day, so that once we do go back to work, go back to our businesses as usual and in our new state of normal, but back to more of a state of normal, that we can accelerate and have success happen a lot faster than starting from scratch. Because I feel like a lot of us still maybe, excuse me, might be in a state of might be frozen. And yes, I've been watching a lot of Frozen with my little one every day. Frozen 1 and Frozen 2 back to back. It's like our favorite show. So yeah, but what we have to talk about now is about letting it go. All right. So we need to find a way to be successful every single day and work on our business and work on ourselves so that we show up better, stronger, and ready to accelerate into success faster and farther than we've ever gone before. So I think
absolutely. And I think, go ahead, Ryan. And I think that's exactly right, Ryan. A lot of us are feeling a bit frozen at the moment. You mentioned that I'm in South Africa. So I am South African, but I live in the UK. We were on a 3-week holiday in South Africa when South Africa locked down. And we're now, here inevitably until at least the end of April. But I think, all of us in our different lives and in our different careers, we're all finding ourselves in this place now where things are frozen around us. So what do we do to control the things that we can control? There's a lot that we can't control at the moment, but we can control our mindset. We can control our thoughts, our words, our actions, the way we show up for our families and our friends, and also the things that we do on a daily basis. So in teeing up today's session around the next 90 days, Ryan and I have been speaking a lot about what are some of the things that you can do consistently every single day whilst you're in lockdown to set yourself up to succeed as soon as business resumes. Now, I think we all need to come to the realization that life as we knew it might not be the same when the lockdown lifts, when business resumes. Things are going to be different. And with that difference, it's up to us to kind of frame what that looks like. Do we accept and embrace it, or are we going to fight it? And our encouragement to you today is to accept it, embrace it, use this time to learn and grow, use this time to innovate, come up with some new ideas, and position yourself so that you're in a better position to succeed when this lockdown lifts. So we'll get stuck into some of that content on the next 90 days shortly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I know for me, I've been working from home a lot I've actually been out of the salon for over a year. So working from home, I already have a routine. I already have a system to be productive and to work on my business from outside of my business, so to speak. And it's actually took me a long time to get good at working from home, because you have all the distractions of home. You've got, well, for me, I have my wife who's plays mommy all day long, and that's a tough job. So if I go in there and I see my little daughter, of course, I can't not hug her. I can't not play with her or read her a book or whatever she wants to do. She's so darn cute. And I can't not hang out with my wife every now and then when she's bored and needs somebody to talk to, if she needs a break during the day. But there needs to be some separation of business and personal. And I think what took me the longest thing to do was actually establish my working hours at home. Because if we're all stuck at home, even if you're just in a spare bedroom, which I initially started in a guest room, in a spare bedroom, I had to say, these are my office hours. This is when I need to get stuff done. And that started to help the separation. But then I had to start to really wrap my own brain around having a separate work schedule while at home. And I had to stick to it myself, because if I didn't stick to it, if I walked by the kitchen and opened a cabinet and saw some chocolate and some popcorn and saw a movie playing in the background that I might just go check out for a minute, I could get lost myself. I needed to stay, this is my work time. I need to focus. This is my productivity time. And it took a long, long time to get good at. And I still have my times, my moments where I want to stop working a little earlier in the day, or I get distracted here and there. So I understand how tricky it probably is for a lot of you that are used to going to the salon Tuesday through Saturday, or maybe even more than that, or you have your schedules outside of home, because home is just where you want to just hang out and relax. But now we're stuck at home. We need to find a way to be productive and start to become better at what we do. And that's really hard. So we have to work out. We have to be healthy in mind, healthy in body, healthy with the way we eat, focus on our work. It's so much complexity all in one little area. It's like a studio apartment where your bedroom is basically inside your kitchen, inside your bathroom. Everything is all mixed together. So it's impossible to have one part of it clean, because it all looks a mess if it's a mess. So what we're trying to do here is help simplify the complexity. We're trying to help guide you toward simpler solutions so that you can move forward without the stress of the world on your shoulders.
Yeah, definitely. And so many good things that you said there, Ryan, about the importance of, our mindsets and managing our environments, especially given that we're living more in our homes now than we've had to in the past. And we obviously you say we're stuck in our homes, but I also think we're safe in our homes at the moment. Homes are a safe place for us to be right now. This is a crazy time where this virus is spreading, and the safest thing that you can actually do right now is be at home. And you'll see a little bit later I speak about some of the mindset things that I do from a daily basis, and I encourage my clients to do as well, just to have that sense of gratitude about all the things that we have in our lives that actually create a platform for us to succeed. So I'm going to get through some of the content now. And please, by all means, if you have any questions, Ryan's going to be monitoring the chat feed. So, pop your questions in the chat, and Ryan will stop me at any point during the presentation. But I know a lot of you are feeling, and I see some of the chat that's coming up on the side. So thanks for putting that into the chat. But I know a lot of you feeling that some of the challenges that you're experiencing right now are, how do you manage your mindset? How do you stay motivated? Comments about lazy habits starting to creep in. And even though you kind of know you've got this time where you could potentially be developing good habits, how do you actually put that in place? Major stress for a lot of people right now is having zero income. So whether you're a salon owner and your salon's closed, or you're a stylist and you aren't able to work and you've got zero income, cash flowing this season is a real challenge. And it's a challenge that we all need to be real about. It's something that we're facing. A lot of businesses are facing, having to kind of shut down during this time. But I also want to encourage you that business is about people dealing with people. If you're reaching out to your clients right now and you're having those sort of open conversations around help us keep the lights on. Are you able to sell vouchers right now? Are you able to pre-book clients and actually get some cash coming in now, where your clients are feeling like actually they can support you in this process as well, which is maybe something that we can brainstorm a little bit later. But I want to just click over to a few of the slides that I prepared for you today. I'm going to take you through a presentation, and please, by all means, stop us if you want to chat. Ryan, I'm sure we'll make these slides available to the audience afterwards as well. So we're talking about the next 90 days. You can see that I've got goals on the slide as well. And we'll get into some of that now. Just a little bit of background for those of you who don't know me. I was blessed to be at Ryan's Hero Conference in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, in February. So some of you have seen some of what I'm going to present today. I have a wife and 3 kids. We're all together in South Africa at the moment, which is also a real blessing that we are together, that I wasn't caught in lockdown in one of the countries around the world that I normally travel to. Ryan mentioned that I'm a certified high performance coach. I've got a business called Fit for Growth. As a certified high performance coach, it's a wonderful opportunity for me to serve and help people reach heightened levels of performance and potential in all areas of their lives. I'm also a Spartan athlete, and I'll be speaking a little bit about overcoming obstacles, because I think some of what we're experiencing now is a major obstacle, and with the racing that I do, it's very much around the technique and understanding how do you get over, under, around, or through an obstacle. And this situation is exactly the same. We've all had significant moments in our lives where we can think about some of the obstacles we've had to overcome. And we'll speak a little bit about that shortly. So as a high performance coach, I've been trained by Brendan Burchard, who's the founder and CEO of the High Performance Institute. He's Ryan's mentor. He's my mentor as well. We've done a lot of great work with him. And our mission as high performance coaches is to inspire and instruct clients to improve their lives, achieve their goals faster, and reach heightened and sustained performance in all areas of their lives. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Goals are great, but actually we need to survive right now. And I'll be speaking about survival goals and things that you can do to survive this the next few months, because I think there's a continuum of how you go from survival to success to significance. Right now, I think we're in that phase of between survival and success. And I want to make sure, and Ryan wants to make sure as well, that over the next 90 days that you position yourself to be successful once business resumes, once things go back to whatever the new normal looks like, that you've actually utilized this time, that you've learned, that you've grown, that you've developed, relationships internally, externally, that you've just found a way to go to your next level in spite of the current situation that you're facing. And that's really our desire for you today. So with high performance coaching, I focus with my clients on mastering these habits. So there's an area of personal habits. Loads of research was done, and I won't bore you with the stats on how many surveys and different assessments we did. But the High Performance Institute came up with, these are the 6 habits that we can demonstrate, that they're deliberate, that we can also train as well. So you can learn these 6 habits. Personal area around seeking clarity, generating energy, raising necessity, and I'll go through some of those today and some of those in future sessions as well. And then there's the social habits around increasing productivity, developing influence, and demonstrating courage. So it's about mastering these habits on the one side, and about mastering the life arenas of productivity, people, psychology, physiology, presence, and purpose. So a little bit of background on the high performance coaching. I mentioned the obstacle course racing, the Spartan racing that I do. I absolutely love it. Obviously, yes, from a physical point of view, from a challenge point of view. I love competing. I love the camaraderie. I love the courage that you need to have to compete in events like this, because some of the obstacles, especially obstacles that you haven't come up against for the first time, a little bit daunting, and you've got to figure out how to get over, under, around, and through it. But for me, the biggest thing is around the technique. So these are the gymnastic rings. The first time I attempted this, didn't have a clue as to how to get through these. Now I look forward to this particular obstacle because I've mastered the technique of how to get through the rings. On the left-hand side, you can see a Hercules hoist. The guy to the right of mine is doing what I did the first time. He's trying to use his upper body strength to pull this heavy sandbag with a thin rope up to the top of a hoist, and then you've got to release it slowly. What I learned was that as arrogant as I might have thought I was, as strong as I might have thought I was never going to be able to pull that bag just with my upper body strength. And the right way to do it is to actually, put your foot up against the fence, lean back into it, use your whole body weight, and pull the sandbag up to the top. And that's much easier to do. And again, just using this as an analogy on how we can master the technique to overcome any obstacle that we're facing. I've been blessed to travel around doing Spartan races. This was the day before the Hero Conference in Jacksonville, Florida, 3 hours north of Orlando. And then I managed to get back in time for the Hero Conference. It's also something that I really want my kids to do. I'm teaching them that this is how we do life. We get out there, we get muddy, we come up against obstacles. And, my youngest, who's right in front of me in this picture, really said it best when I said to him at the beginning of his first race, he was on the start line and he started crying and he said, "Dad, I'm so nervous." I said, "My boy, what are you nervous about?" He says, "Well, I'm nervous about failing obstacles." And I said to him, "Well, what happens if you fail an obstacle?" And he said to me, "Well, I'm just going to get up, I'm going to try again." And I said, "Well, that's exactly right, my boy. You're just going to learn, you're going to try again, you're going to figure out how to go through this obstacle." And I think, for all of us, how we show up now for our families is so important. For those of you that have kids, you'll understand what I'm saying, that they're also a little bit out of sorts at the moment. They don't really know what's going on around them and what's really happening in the world. But they can pick up our mood, they can pick up our vibe and our energy. And if we're down and depressed and we're not in a good space, the kids are going to pick that up. And on the flip side, if you've ever seen the movie Life is Beautiful, where Roberto Bellini's in Nazi Germany, and it's the Holocaust, and he's trying to create this fun game for his son to be able to move him out of the situation. And they play this game and he's full of life, and that allows them to survive. And I think that's part of how we need to show up now, is we need to decide how we're going to serve, how we're going to show up for our family and our friends, and enable all of us to get through this really, really tough situation that we're going through at the moment. So I have a personal purpose in life that I exist to serve by liberating greatness. It's why I'm here today, because I want to inspire you to liberate greatness in your life. And I want to be that catalyst that sparks something inside of you that gets you to your next level of success and significance. We've all had different obstacles that we've overcome in our lives. And I know that some of you will relate to some of what I'm about to say now, but I'm not going to tell you my full story, but very, very briefly. I've got a slide up here that says 1 bullet, 2 cancers, a coffee shop, and the 2008 recession. So when I was 26 years old, in 2004, I lost my dad to suicide. He took his life. He was an incredible man, was in a place that nobody really understood. And out of nowhere, he committed suicide. There were 2,000 people at his funeral, to give you a sense of how well respected he was in the community because of the way that he served. He'd had a back operation. We think that there was, the mix of medication that he was on maybe put him in this place where he didn't understand where he was. The same week that he passed away, my girlfriend's mom was diagnosed with cancer. 6 months after my dad passed away, my mother was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. And she survived another 2.5 years before she passed away. And if you had said to me on the 3rd of November 2004 that in 2.5 years I was going to lose both my parents in this way, I would have said, you're smoking something and it's never going to happen. But it did. It happened. And in the meantime, I had to pick up a family business, which was a coffee shop that I didn't really want to be involved in, pick up the pieces of a broken family. And I used that to say, well, how do I get through this? We also had to face the 2008 recession, which, for those of you that remember, that was a really, really tough time for many of us. And I had the approach that there are 2 types of change. There's change that happens to you, and that's like everything that happened to me. My dad's suicide, the cancers, having to take on this coffee shop, and the 2008 recession. Change that happens to you, or there's change that you make happen. And I think that's the choice that we all face right now, is are we going to be victims to the change that's happening to us? Or are we going to be proactive and say, well, I can't control a lot at the moment, but there are things that I can control. I can control my mind. I can control my thoughts. I can control my words. I can control how I show up for my family and friends. And I can make change happen. I can learn. I can grow. I can build relationships when everybody's withdrawing at the moment. We're talking about social distancing. And I'm actually encouraging people to, yes, physically social distancing is the right thing to do right now, but actually connect more with people than you've ever connected before. If you're on this call, it means you've got access to Wi-Fi. It means you've got access to a device. It means you've got access to telephone numbers or email addresses that you can reach out to the people that are important to you, whether that's family or friends or your clients. You can build those relationships right now. And it's a change that you make happen that I want to spend the rest of today talking about. So a couple of the lessons that I learned through the adversity that I went through. The first is that sometimes your next level is actually a step down to put you in the right position so that you can climb the whole staircase. So if you think about the situation that I went through, to be in a business that I didn't really want to be involved in, and to have the family trauma that we went through, that was definitely a step down for me. That was not a step that I would have liked to have taken in my life. But it put me in a position where I said, well, what's in my hands? I've got this business. I've got a community that I need to serve. I'm going to do something with it. And through that process, I realized over a period of time how it helped me become a better entrepreneur, how it helped me with relationships. I met my wife in the coffee shop. She was a client of mine in the coffee shop. So many good things came out of that. I've got this beautiful family now because I was in the situation that I didn't necessarily want to be in, but I chose to do what I could to make it work for me. And I think that kind of leads me on to the next part around what's in your hands. What do you have available in your hands right now that you can actually do something with? I know Ryan's made so much great content available to you that you could be using to go to your next level in terms of your technical capability. You could be, reading books. You could be watching TED Talks or doing online courses, or, like you are now, jumping onto a call to get inspiration, to get some new ideas. And then for me, the whole thing about that is that what do you do with that? You've got to apply that. You've got to do something with whatever's in your hands to help you get to your next level. I'm a firm believer that if we do things with the spirit of excellence, success gravitates towards us. So even now in lockdown, if you're reaching out to your clients with the spirit of excellence, success is going to gravitate towards you. They're going to want to book you. And I know one of the comments in the chat was around booking is quite a challenge at the moment. And I'd love to unpack that a little bit more. Is that about because we don't really know what time we're going to go back, back to work? We don't have a time frame for that. But do things with the spirit of excellence so that success gravitates towards you. Know who you are and how you want to serve. And I'm going to give you some practical tools that are going to help you, get to this point where you are crystal clear on who you are, how you want to serve, and what your purpose is, because everything should stem from that. My purpose that I mentioned to you previously was very much around liberating greatness for individuals and teams. And because I'm so clear on that, everything that I do allows me to serve in that way. And then the last one is around serving. Business is and always will be around people dealing with people. So the more you can connect, the better rapport you can build, that's going to enable you to succeed. So COVID-19 arrived, unannounced, uninvited, unwelcome, and we were pretty much all unprepared. So where do we go from here? What do we do? And I want to tee up a success journal that I've created. And I'm going to talk you through certain elements of this today. I really built the success journal to help me with my own daily routines, really. So I found like I was often giving my time away to other people, and other people were controlling my time, as opposed to me feeling like I'm in control. I'm doing what matters most. And actually, I didn't know what mattered most. So part of this was also around getting clarity on my goals, clarity on who I am, how I want to serve, what's important to me, who's important to me. And you would have seen when I teed up the high performance habits, that seeking clarity is the first high performance habit. It's the foundation for everything, because once you have clarity, A, you have peace, but B, you know which direction that you want to go in. Tony Robbins says that when you know where you're going, you're halfway there. because you've got a vision, you've got clarity on the direction that you want to go in. So really what I want to try and do for you this evening or this afternoon in the US, it's late in the evening in South Africa, but it's to gain clarity and purposeful direction, reduce stress and increase productivity, and increase your holistic well-being and happiness. So the three main parts of the journal I'm going to take you through. The first section is called This Is Me. There's a goal section, and then I want to spend time focusing on the 90-day success plan. And again, shout if you have any questions, and we will answer those as we go. So in the This Is Me section, you'll see there's basically a two-page template. It's a double-page spread. It's got sections on who am I, my values, what's important to me, my purpose in life, and who's important to me. So, as you're going through this, I really want you to think about who are you. When I write this out, and I've got my success journal that I've been working on for the last 90 days. I finished it yesterday. I've got my new one that I'm about to start tomorrow. But when I go through this and I fill this out, I put that I'm a husband, that I'm a father, that I'm a high performance coach, and that all those things that, that map out who I am, a brother, an entrepreneur, they kind of guide me then on, if that's who I am, then what are my values and what's important to me, which are the next couple of elements that come up. So what are your values? What's important to you? Who's important to you? And for me, the big thing here with who's important to you is, how do you want to serve them? What are the three words? If you look at the bottom right-hand corner of the template, it talks about legacy. So, what are the three words that you want those people that you're serving to consistently say about you? So for my kids, for example, I have three words for my kids. When I look at them, I always want to be present, kind, and gentle. Those are my three words for them. And I find that if I'm at home on my device and I'm drawn into my phone or focused on my laptop or whatever the case is, and I'm not mentally present, even though I'm physically present, if I'm not mentally present, it's very difficult for me then to be kind and gentle. So that's a reminder for me to be mentally present so that I can be kind and gentle to my kids. I have three different words for my wife. I have three different words for how I serve in this environment when I'm coaching or consulting. So it really gives you clarity on how you want to show up for the people that are important to you. So how do you want to show up? I know for those of you that were at the Hero Conference, I asked you to come up with your three words, and I've seen a lot of you post those on social media. I know Ryan's also super passionate about this, making sure that we're affirming ourselves and just reminding ourselves about who we are and how we show up. And then there's your purpose statement. So your purpose statement is not necessarily something that you're going to come up with overnight. I've worked with a number of different clients, some like Ryan, who was able to clarify his purpose within a week. And when he got to that point where he was crystal clear on his purpose, we both celebrated because he was so alive and it just resonated so much. And we said, absolutely, that's his purpose. And it's been such a joy to see him bring that purpose to life in the way that he's serving you as a community. So it's an incredibly powerful thing. So I want to encourage you to think about your purpose statement. I've given you some prompts there around, the purpose of your life is to be. What are your three words? So for me, it's to be enthusiastic, excellent, and extraordinary. Then to do, well, that's my liberating greatness, to liberate greatness in my own life and the lives of all those around me. And then there's a so that section, so that I might inspire others to live, learn, love, and grow every day. That's my purpose. And I want to encourage you to think about what's your purpose and how do you want to serve. And then there's a goals section. So the first part of goals is to understand your current reality. There are different sections that, I'd love for you to rate when you get these slides as well. So think about where you are when it comes to your health. Would you rate that on the sort of 1, 2, 3 side of the scale, or closer to the 7, 8, 9, 10 area? Across these different areas, your lover, your relationship, significant other, family and friends, your mission, your finances, your hobby, and your spirit. For me, those are really about understanding where you are now before you start setting goals. And I'll tell you how we use this. We talk about different life arenas and 3 lives. We talk about a caged life, where if you're rating yourself as a 1, 2, or 3, this caged life is where you're feeling like this is prison time. This is, you're confined, you're locked in, there's nowhere to go. This isn't where you want to be. And it's a really, really difficult space for you. And then you would get the next area, which is what we call a comfortable life, where you aren't necessarily succeeding, you're not really unhappy with where you're at, but it's comfortable. And then you get the charged life, which is where I want all of you to be, where you're feeling really inspired, you're feeling vibrant, you're feeling fully alive and charged. And it's about how do you sustain it over the long term, which is where you become supercharged. So where are you now and where do you want to be? And again, I'd encourage you to score yourself in these different areas so that you can start setting some great goals. The second part then is to set goals and focus on what matters most. A great tool that I like to use in the journal is trying to decide where do you want to go from and where do you want to go to. So what's my current reality, so that I'm real about my current reality. So some of that will come from the scores that you've set for yourself. And then where do I want to be within the next 90 days? And if you're thinking about finances, be real about where you are now and set yourself some goals on where you want to be within the next 90 days, even if you can't see a way to achieve that yet. And I can't tell you how powerful that is. You know, I've set myself goals in the past where I didn't know how I was going to achieve the goal. But then on day 60, I had breakthrough. And, you know, other goals where I've set the goal, day 30, I've had major breakthrough. So a lot of this is about consistent daily action to help move the needle forward. And I think for a lot of us, the lockdown goal at the moment is to get you from overwhelm to successful survival, to get to this place where you're able to say, you know what, it was tough, but we survived. We survived and we are in a position to succeed because of the things that we did whilst we were in lockdown. So the survival goals that I'm encouraging you to think about, you know, what's the low-hanging fruit? Are there some quick wins? What will generate cash flow for you right now? And Ryan and I brainstormed some ideas around, potentially offering vouchers to your clients, coming up with package deals. It's a beautiful opportunity for you to innovate right now. So I don't know how many of you know that in the 2008 recession, that's when Airbnb was formed. That's when Netflix started becoming really big. A lot of the great companies that we love and appreciate today were born in the recession. This is our time to sit back and think and create and innovate, not to sit back and just wait for everything to pass. So really just think about what's the low-hanging fruit, what are some quick wins, and what's going to help generate some cash flow for you right now. So then on the 90-day success plan, there's a weekly routine and there's a daily routine. I'm just going to talk you through the daily routine now. And we talk about the aggregation of marginal gains, where if you think about looking for a tiny margin of improvement in everything that you do, that aggregates over a period of time. Zappos put out a memo to their staff one day. It said if you start out with $100 at the beginning of the year and you were able to increase that, what you'd have by about 1% every single day, at the end of the year, you would have $3,778. Okay, and there's a little formula to that. It's 37 times what you had at the beginning of the year. So they're encouraging their employees to get that 1% every single day. They're saying that if you did that, you would improve 1% each day. You'd become 37 times better at the end of the year. And I think it's such a great example of, you know, even the 5 minutes exercise that you do is better than sitting on the couch. Okay. Even learning, getting onto an online course for 30 minutes a day is going to be better than if you did nothing. Making 2 phone calls to your clients is better than if you did nothing. So what's that 1% every single day that you can take on board to help you move the needle forward so that you're in a position of strength when you get to the end of this lockdown? So the question that I'm putting out to you is, what will you achieve in the next 90 days? For each of us, it's going to be different. We're all at different stages in our journey, but for you, this needs to be real in terms of what you're going to achieve in the next 90 days. So looking at the daily routine, I think our challenge today is an absence of certainty and security. We had that sense of certainty and security when we went into our daily work and our daily routines. That's changed. So I think the big thing for me about routines is we love routines because they're familiar, consistent, and predictable. So what can you do to create that familiar, consistent, and predictable routine that's going to set you up for success during this time? I think also routines give us a sense of calm, clarity, and composure because we know what to expect at any point in our day. And that's what I want you to set up here as well. So This again is a template that we'll be sharing with you. It's the double spread for the daily routine, something that I go through every single day. And it really starts off with gratitude. So I start off my morning, I ask myself the question, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for today? And I know it's difficult at the moment. We might, it's very easy to get into, things are really tough. I don't have income coming in. I'm able to work. I'm not able to this. I'm not able to that. But if you stop to think about, well, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? And you actually just ask yourself, well, some mornings when it's tough for me, I go back to the basics. I say, well, I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for my family. I'm grateful for safety and security, the fundamentals. And the minute you start thinking about things that you're grateful for, that starts to lift your spirit. It really starts to put you in a better mindset. And I know one of the questions earlier was around how do we control our mindset? Well, it starts with how you think first thing in the morning. And it's this whole thing about gratitude. I'm also a big fan for tracking my sleep to make sure that I'm getting a good night's rest. You should be sleeping between 7 and 9 hours a day, a night. And obviously, if you're able to get quality sleep, you're going to feel more energized. If you're having less than 7 hours sleep, because you've been watching TV until late or you're waking up early in the morning, you're not going to feel energized. You're not going to feel your best. So especially in this time where you've got an opportunity to get to bed early, have a good night's rest, I want to encourage you to do that because I know it's going to serve you the next day when you get up and you feel well rested. The next thing that I do is I write down my 3 goals that I'm focusing on for the 90 days. So every single day for the duration of the 90 days, I write down the same 3 goals. Why? Because that keeps the top of mind. It makes sure that in my mind, I know exactly what I'm working towards. Because then the next section is so super important. It's the action plan. And I say, well, what's 1 or 2 actions that I need to take on each of those goals? And it's literally only 1 or 2 actions, because anything more than that, you're going to feel overwhelmed that you've got too much to get through in the day. And the last thing that I want for you is to get to the end of the day and realize that you didn't get through your 6 actions for goal number 1. So just set yourself 1 or 2 things. Remember the concept of marginal gains. What's the 1% improvement? What's the 1 or 2 things that are going to help you move the needle forward on each of those goals? And then for me, it's important that you move those across to the right-hand side of the page and actually schedule them and what we call block time, where you actually chunk out time to work on those goals. Bottom left-hand corner of the page is also a section for people. Who do I need to contact today? And I think this is now more than ever something that I want to encourage you to do, because it's people that you need to contact today, either to ask for help. And I think a lot of us don't actually do this often enough, is we don't ask for help often enough. And I speak for myself as much as I am for you as well. Ask for help, offer help, or just build relationship. And there's a lot to be said for the science of when you ask for help, you're actually giving the other person an opportunity for a dopamine hit. So if I was to ask Ryan for help, he'd get a dopamine hit because he'd be thinking, that's great, John needs my help. And he'd happily help me. And he's got skills that I don't have. So I'm going to benefit from him helping me with skills that he has that I don't have. It's a mutually beneficial thing to ask for help. And especially in this time of need, I want to encourage you to raise your hand and ask for help, because we don't need to go through this alone. And then right at the bottom right-hand corner of this daily routine is what I call the evening routine. It'll take you 2 minutes to do, and literally an opportunity for you to just celebrate success, sense check. Was I in command of my day? Have I moved closer to my goals? Was I present, focused, and inspired in all that I did today? And then again, just wrapping up the day with 3 things that you can be grateful for. So some of what you could put in there in terms of your goals, it's going to be different for everybody. It could be a health goal. It could be a learning and development goal. It could be a financial goal in terms of bringing cash flow in the next 90 days. It could also be a reaching out to clients goal. How many clients do you want to reach out to whilst we're in this lockdown situation? Very quickly, the benefits of gratitude, because I think it's so important that we all do this every single day. Gratitude opens doors for more relationships. It improves your physical health. Gratitude improves your psychological health. It enhances empathy and reduces aggression. Grateful people sleep better at night. It also improves self-esteem, and it increases mental strength. So that's from Forbes. It's not just my opinion. Again, studies that have proven that gratitude can help us, can benefit us in all this ways. So that's why I'm really encouraging you to start your day off with that. So a couple of do's and don'ts with the daily routine. I want you to try and do this every single day, because I know it will serve you to have that routine every single day. I don't want you to be too hard on yourself. It is, like with anything new, it'll take a little while for you to get used to it. But you'll see the benefit of doing this consistently. It will take you about 10, 15 minutes in the morning just to map out your day, and then obviously stick to your plan as much as possible. I'll always encourage you to go hard on the plan, but to go easy on yourself. So when you aren't able to actually follow through on this, when something doesn't necessarily go according to your plan for the day, just give yourself some grace. I think now more than ever, we need to give ourselves some grace with how we handle ourselves during the course of the day. And that is the daily routine. So I want to just wrap up by just encouraging you that everything you need to succeed is in your life today. The people, the relationships that you have, you've got access to so many different resources that you can tap into to help move you through this challenging time that we're all going through. I want to encourage you to be courageous, to take action in spite of fear. We often talk about the 3 different types of fear in high performance, the fear of loss, the fear of the process, and the fear of the outcome. That what if I did take action and it's not necessarily the outcome that I wanted? What if the process is too strenuous? It's, creates hardships. What if I lose things in the process as well? And I want to encourage you to take action, be courageous, take action in spite of those fears. And you've definitely got Ryan as an awesome mentor and coach to be able to support and encourage you. And likewise, I'm also there to walk alongside you. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. So I know this is going to be a different routine for you to adopt, but I want to encourage you to start it. I want to encourage you to start off with the thinking around who you are, how you want to serve, what's important to you, then moving into assessing your current reality, setting some goals, and then starting with taking daily action to help you move the needle forward every single day. And that's it from me in terms of the content that I wanted to take you through. I'm going to open it up to Ryan and see if there were any questions that you want to ask me or Ryan.
Awesome. First of all, I see you guys had some great questions here that we can go over some of those as well. And yes, you will have access to the webinar after. I'll make sure I put it on. Where am I looking? Right here. I got a camera here on my computer, and then I got the nice camera here that I need to look at here. And my microphone's over here, so I'm all over the place. But you'll learn that about me. You don't have to be perfect to be successful. That's what we're here to help you do. We're helping to help you with this new normal. And we are going to have this live on our, recorded live on our Facebook, the Balayage Mastermind. I'll send in a follow-up email to everybody so that if you're not part of that private group, I'll make sure you get access to it so you can rewatch this as many times as you need to. I think we're also going to be able to give you the slides for this. If John had mentioned that to me earlier, that we can make those available because they're great visuals. And then maybe he can also let you know where to get a copy of his book if you want to purchase a copy of it, or get your own copy of his productivity manual. Yeah.
Yeah, with absolute pleasure, Ryan. And I'd love to make the same offer that I made available at Hero. That's I can give you access to a PDF download of the Success Journal and the online course. It just talks you how to get the most out of the journal. That's my gift to you for free. I think we all need to support each other during this time. So that's yours, and I will give Ryan the link, and he can email that out to you as well.
Okay, awesome. And if somebody wanted to actually purchase like the physical book, is that possible yet?
Yeah, that is possible. So I'm obviously in South Africa, all my stock's in the UK. So if you just reach out to me either on Instagram or on email, I'll definitely be able to hook you up as soon as I'm back in the UK and I can send some stock across to you.
And they can find you on Instagram. I'll go ahead and include that in the email as well, so you can make sure you follow him on Instagram. But if you want to just jump on and follow him now or send him a DM, it's at John Roussot, right? Or am I wrong?
That's right. Yeah. Okay. That's right. Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. Let's look at some questions here that we had. So I know that some of you had mentioned you're balancing with your new normal. Danielle, you had mentioned you're trying to juggle all this. You're pushing to teaching your children. and you're trying to engage with clients and keep your mental health positive, you're struggling with the balance of everything. Yeah, it's a lot of new stuff all at once. And especially if you're used to sending your kids off to school somewhere, so at least you have some kind of freedom away from them, right? Because being a full-time parent, I watch Jenny being a full-time mom all the time, and now I'm home. Well, I'm always home. I'm home more of those now. It's exhausting. It takes so much out of you, especially when your little one is almost 18 months and just never stops. And that's what our little one is right now. And then we got another one coming in October. So get ready for that sleep deprivation again. So you need to be a teacher. You need to be a parent and a role model. You need to keep it together so you don't freak your family out, right? With all this stress, whether it's financial and uneasiness and whatever season of life you're in now. And you're just, this uncertainty has us all kind of just going a little wacky. I know I'm getting a little quirkier from day to day with this cabin fever, but I think this is also cool. We're becoming more of ourselves behind these slow quarters. Let the goofiness out. That's how we find our happiness. That's how we find and tap into ourselves when we're forced to. we don't have work to hide behind anymore. So let's focus on staying positive. Let's focus on being role models for those that we come into contact with to the best of our ability, especially our children, and our family members, the ones that we see and talk to every single day. So yeah, balancing is tough right now, but that's why I feel like having this daily routine, being courageous and having gratitude and sharing gratitude openly, not just keeping it internally, getting your family involved with gratitude. And it could be when you sit down for a meal, you could say, let's all go around and talk about what we're grateful for today. And it's about finding those little moments throughout the day to keep you positive, to keep you strong, to connect at a deeper level. And we need to really, it could be, I see people walking and families walking together down the street. You know, of course, they're away from everybody else, which is nice. You know, we got to keep that social distance, but we're coming together in ways that we've never done in years because most of us are just so used to burying ourselves in work, I'm included, that we shut ourselves off to feeling emotions a lot of times because we're just like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And now we're stuck with ourselves in our emotions and everything we are. And we need to be role models for everybody that we're around. I just went off on like a million different tangents there, but I think you understand that we're all kind of going through this strange period right now. And yes, this is a test. This is a big test in our lives right now. And if you're the role model in the family, if you're watching this, you need to be that role model in the family. It's your time to stand up and be that leader, to be that role model. This is a test for you. If you can overcome this test, whatever you face in the future will seem like nothing. You know, you got this. This is the way I look at it myself. I'm like, this is a test. This is testing my mindset through everything else I've gone through in my life and survived. This is just one more test. And I want to get a good grade on this test.
I love that. I think you're so right, Ryan. Balancing is quite a difficult thing to do, and I've seen some of the comments there around, you know, teacher, mom, and entrepreneur not getting a chance to practice on business and mannequin until they trying to stay focused. So thank you for those comments, and it's so true. And you know, just to respond to you, Lynn, there, I think, you know, give yourself grace. You know, being a role model is not about being the best teacher right now. You know, it's doing what you can to facilitate learning for your kids, you know, to be the best mom that you can be. And that's, a lot of that is about just your heart for your kids. You know, often, you know, kids want quality time more than anything. They just want us. You know, they want time with us. They want love. They want support. They want encouragement. And, you know, you could just, you know, be at peace with the fact that you don't necessarily have to keep them spot on with their curriculum, their school curriculum right now. The whole world's going through the same thing. You know, we actually made a decision in November last year to homeschool our kids. And I know it was a massive, massive stress for my wife in the beginning to think about how she's going to be able to teach all the subjects to 3 kids in 3 different levels, at the same level that their teachers were teaching, until she realized, and until I realized as well, is that's not what's required of us. We need to just facilitate their learning. And this could actually be, an incredible blessing for you to get closer to your kids, to teach them things like resourcefulness, to teach them how to research, how to figure things out for themselves, and guide them on their journey, rather than feeling like you now all of a sudden have to be the expert in every subject. And I really hope that lifts a weight off your shoulders. Even in a homeschooling journey, we're encouraged to sort of unschool the kids first, to just let them play, to just let them be kids before you start homeschooling them again. So if that's what it is for the next couple of weeks, where, the kids are, playing and just being themselves and not necessarily having to do curriculum so that you can maintain your sanity is more important right now than getting the curriculum right. And yes, it's still going to be a juggle to facilitate that, to be an awesome mom, and to try and be an entrepreneur. And I think that's also where this daily routine comes in so handy, is if you plan your day out, you say, right, how can I chunk certain things? You're also able to say to the kids, this is my time now where I need to, focus on this. I just need 30 minutes. I need 1 hour, whatever the case is. And I guarantee that they'll respect it as well. And then again, Ryan mentioned be a role model. That's a good thing to role model, to say that we plan our day, that we have priorities, and then we focus and we get those jobs done. And in the meantime, let's respect each other's time. Let's respect each other's priorities. So I hope that encourages you and gives you a few ideas that you can apply there, Lynn.
Well, let me challenge you guys all to something else too. And I want John to help me with this. When John first started coaching me, he asked me, like he said, his mission in life is to liberate greatness in others. He challenged me. He asked me, he said, what's your purpose statement? What is your purpose in life? What are you trying to do? And right away, I took a minute and I'm thinking to myself, well, I started to rattle off a list of different things that I thought was my purpose. And it might have been my purpose in many indirect ways, but he said, try to simplify it into a very small statement, like his, to liberate greatness. And with the statement down to its core, with a purpose statement so simplified, you don't have to necessarily be behind the chair servicing a client to be living your purpose. Because I was speaking to a lot of stylists recently, and some of them have said that my purpose was doing hair. My purpose was in the salon behind the chair, making my clients feel great. Now I can't do that anymore. I have no purpose. Yes, you do, but your purpose just isn't nailed down enough. And that's what I'm thinking I challenge you to do. I challenge you to take your purpose into a deeper level. So that way you can still find a way to serve your purpose and have meaning in your life, even when you're not able to be behind the chair or in your place of business serving your particular customer. You can do it with your family. If you're teaching your kids and you are, for me, he got me to figure out that for me, it's not much different than his, because we have similar intentions in the world, but mine is to inspire greatness. And once I got so clear on to inspire greatness, I realized I could do that anywhere, to anyone, at any time. Anybody I come into contact with, anywhere I go, I can do that. If I'm stuck at home, if I'm playing with my little Sage, I can inspire her to be great. I can inspire my wife to be great. I can inspire clients. I can inspire you to be great. If you have a statement, something like that, or to generate positivity in everyone's life, or to make people feel special, you don't need to be behind the chair to do that. You can do that from home. You can do that with people you come into contact with. You can call your clients and appreciate them that way. There are ways you can still serve purpose by not actually physically being where you do your work. So how would you, I want to make that a hero challenge. I like to throw out these different hero challenges. And if you guys come up with your phrase, I want to hear about them. I want you to tag us. But John, can you maybe phrase it in a more simplistic way for them, like a homework assignment?
Yeah, I love it, Ryan. I think it's so spot on, in terms of, even though you don't have clients in your chair right now where you're able to serve them, you can still serve your clients, and just listening to you talk about your discovery about your purpose statement, I think that's something that everybody in this call could do. as you're discovering what your purpose is, send that out to your clients to say, listen, I've been on this journey where I've discovered my purpose is that I exist to serve by, and then these two words, what's your purpose? And stimulates a conversation, and to say, I can't wait to serve you when we're back, in the salon, because this is my purpose. Ryan and I have often spoken about the fact that as stylists and salon owners, what you do for your clients is you give them confidence, you help them feel beautiful, you help them just, appreciate themselves more, because you give them that attention and that love and support, and obviously your technical expertise as well. So how can you do that whilst you're in lockdown? What can you do to still reach out to your clients and still boost their confidence, still make them feel valuable, still make them feel beautiful? And I think that's probably a challenge that we've got to think about, what are the, in fact, I actually thought about the challenge earlier in terms of, what are the 10 things that you can do to support your clients, to serve your clients whilst you're in lockdown? And maybe that's the challenge, Ryan, is, hero challenge, 10 things to serve your clients. What are those 10 things? And I'd love to see your responses, when you send something across to a client and you say, hey, listen, just find out what my purpose is. I'd love to serve you in this way. And you start a conversation. What's the response that you get back from your clients? Or if it's something else on your list of 10 things, and you ping that off to them and the response that you get. So let us know, what sort of response you get from them. I think that'll be a pretty awesome thing to do.
Yeah. And if we have time, which I know a lot of us do have a lot of time, a lot more time than we've probably ever had in a very long time, to serve your clients now, this is the perfect time to connect with them on a much deeper level, to connect with them even more human to human, because you're not actually performing a service. You're not actually giving them a result. You're just connecting with them. You give them a call, give them a text, give them an email, something personal, something just to them, not an email list. Call them, text them, and just say, hey, this is Ryan. I'm just checking in. I know this has just been a crazy, unprecedented time now, and I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you and I care about you, and can't wait to see you back in the salon soon. If there's anything I can do to help you now, I am here. I've got time. If you need help learning how to style your hair, if you need product recommendations, anything, we can try to come up with other ways to give you some ideas on how to serve them. But that's the starting point. Just start to connect with them. And then you could even ask them, would it be okay if I emailed you once a week just to let you know how I'm doing, let you know what's happening in the salon world, what's happening in the hair world? And you start to build this relationship where you start to email them and on a regular basis, and you connect with them, you connect with your entire audience by first connecting personally. And then it's just, you're just talking to them like they're a friend. You're a friend that you're just saying hi to, and we can talk about how to do that in future episodes and things like that. But the first thing you want to do is just connect with them and just be a person and just say, I'm thinking about you. Think about what you would want somebody to say to you, checking in on you. It might be your dentist. If your dentist sent you a message and said, hey, Ryan, I just want to say, I miss your teeth. I miss that smile. I hope you're doing well. Hope your kids are doing well. And once this is all over, I hope to see you soon. Blessings. It's just something simple like that. It doesn't have to be some hugely thought out thing. But like, once you get that momentum going, you're going to come up with other ideas. You're going to come up with other ways. Oh, I could send them this. Oh, I could do this. And that's where your hairpreneur mind will start to take over.
Very cool. I mean, coming from Leslie there around, what's the best way to keep guests engaged? And we've shared a few ideas now. And your other comment there around, you want to be a source of light for them and help them, and you want them to know that you're still there for them and that you serve them in any way they need. I think that's beautiful, and don't feel shy about that. I think, we all need more light in our lives at the moment. We all need more encouragement, and to have somebody think about us and ping us a message to say, hey, I'm thinking about you, had this cool idea, or, I read this quote and wanted to just send it across to you because you came to mind. Those are special messages, and people have time now to read those messages and to connect in that way. So, the smallest gesture is far greater than the greatest intention. So rather than just thinking about something, just ping somebody a message, and just do it out of a spirit of service, a heart of service. And I guarantee that that's going to help you develop the friendship, develop the relationship, and develop the loyalty that we're all looking for from our clients at the moment. And I think that's a really special thing that you've said there, Liz, in terms of just being a source of light for them.
One more question I want to go to here from B. Kroll. I'm a salon owner. My booth renters say they can't pay. All the weight is on my shoulders, and I feel like I'm starting to get upset about it. How do I shift my mindset? I don't know. Yeah, this is a real huge topic of debate, and we're not going to get too far into that today. We did that in one of our previous lives, which is available on my YouTube channel, Ryan Weeden YouTube channel. You said your booth renters can't pay. If they can't pay because they just don't have the money, that's one thing. If they won't pay, that's a very different story, because I used to be a booth renter. I've been a commission stylist. I know a lot of booth renters are saying they shouldn't pay and that the salon should give them free rent, but salon owners have a much higher responsibility of payments, and a lot of salon owners don't make much money. So booth renters, I know there's a lot of booth renters on this call. I definitely don't want to start any controversy, because I think you need to have a conversation with your owners about this. And if your owners can get help by the government with the SBA loans, then great. Then maybe they can offer some relief. But booth renters can also get a forgivable loan from the SBA as well. So as a booth renter, I know at least in California, you decided to have your own business, and you took that responsibility on yourself, and you didn't want the responsibility of having a physical space. So we need to be really nice to our salon owners that really might not be able to afford to stay in business. So I would say it just comes down to a conversation, a heart-to-heart conversation in this really tough time between salon owners and their staff and the people that work with them as booth renters. So it's really tough for everybody. Nobody is having a break right now. Even our Masters of Balayage classes, we have to postpone so many of those. And it's really tough. I mean, everybody's bottom line is getting hit, and we just have to be really empathetic and really join in that we're all in this together. The entire world is in this together. Nobody, maybe except for Amazon, is making any money. But yeah, it's really tough. So let's just all try to hold hands and just be the shining light, and know that we're going to get through this. Stay positive. You guys are here for a reason watching this, because you want to work on your mindset. You want to charge forward with positivity and togetherness. So let's all do this. We got this.
You got this, absolutely. And I think as a salon owner, as a leader of that business as well, to almost just empathize with the team and be able to say to them, you understand that they're afraid, you understand that they're feeling this uncertainty and this insecurity, but you want to reassure them that we're in this together, and for us to be in this together, how can we support each other? And I think if you're having a we conversation where it's about us together and it's not a you versus them, then I think you're also able to lead a better conversation that says, let's find some mutually beneficial solution to the challenges that we're facing. And that's going to be different for everybody in terms of the shape or form and that takes. But I just encourage you to lead. That's an opportunity for you to choose how to respond with love, respond with empathy, that you understand what people are going through mentally, emotionally, and support them in a way that helps you as well, if that makes sense.
Well, I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Hairpreneur Show live with John Roussot and myself. Thank you guys. We'll do more of these. I love talking to John. I love talking to you guys. So thank you very much, John. I really appreciate you spending the time with us here today. My absolute pleasure, Ryan. Thank you for having me on the show, and thank you all for joining us and for your great questions. All the best. We'll be cheering you on. We're here to support you as well and encourage you. So please feel free to reach out to both of us. See us as in your corner to help you succeed. So thank you all. Happy Monday, guys. And look for an email. I'm going to send an email out within 24 hours or so with some extra follow-up stuff and some cool links to get the slides and also his downloadable workbook. Thanks, guys. We'll chat soon. Take care. Bye.